Welcome back to Absolutely. My name is Benny. That is Sal. That is Hussein. And today's episode is brought to you by Into the AM. Get yourself some incredibly. They're great shirts, guys. They really are. They've got some fun designs on them. They're super soft. You can get them plain. They're new designs. They got a whole new rollout going on. So I highly recommend checking them out. Use the code Absolutely or click the link down below. If you want this channel to continue going, please check out our sponsors. All right. Today, we're going to be talking about some Daredevil Born Again news.
Yay.
Sal, you're tracking this, right? So
yeah, I am. They're still not explaining why it has like triple the amount of episodes than every other Disney Plus program. But okay. They are telling you about the casting situation, for example. Number one, most exciting, I think, is that Jon Bernthal is back as Punisher, and he's making his MCU debut in the MCU Daredevil show, starring the Netflix Daredevil Charlie Cox, but no one else from Netflix except for Vincent D'Onofrio. Yay.
Is that confirmed, Deborah Ann Woll?
It is not confirmed.
Okay.
It is not confirmed.
They trended that on Twitter multiple times that they were recasted or that they were not going to be part of this, but all that it was vague comments and nothing else.
You know what that was? That was... an official source said that Punisher Jon Bernthal was going to be in it, and then someone else was like, and Foggy and Karen are recast.
Yeah,
and it's it's
the same bullshit that we see all the time, where someone just says something knowing it'll trend.
You know what that is? That's like wakeboarding. They were just I'm gonna catch that. And I'm going to take the momentum from what you were doing and then use it to further my Marvel, but with a 3 instead of an E News Twitter handle. I don't know. I would not be surprised if Marvel was that dumb to be like, it's just like Netflix, but it's not the Netflix universe. And also we're going to keep, but they also say that they recast Vanessa. And so that's baffling and lends credence to the idea that Karen and Foggy were recast. But let's table the suspicion for a moment and just talk about what we do know, which is Punisher is going to be in the MCU.
Yes.
Finally. It's going to be played by Jon Bernthal, and he's going to make his debut in the in the Disney Plus Daredevil show.
Now, because we're going to talk a little bit, that's why we didn't do it right away when the news first dropped. Because first off, in the sad day
just
and age
sifting
we're in,
through it.
Well, the problem is we don't know if it's real or not. Like, you got to give almost every rumor 3 days to see if it gets debunked or continues at this point.
True.
Because when this first got announced last week, I was like, oh, we should make a video. Then I'm like, is it real?
Right.
Like, our audience would, I bet you our audience would like it if we confirm it before we make a whole video about Jon Bernthal.
I know they do. Yeah, they care.
So my question is, one, are they going to, how badly nerfed do you think he's going to get?
It really depends on what they decide to go with. It's a really weird choice for the MCU to be like, let's do Punisher now.
Yeah.
As opposed to let's kick the can down the road further. Because remember when they were like, oh no, Punisher was driving the van in Captain America Winter Soldier. You know? So Punisher has been in the MCU for 10 years. And I know that's a rumor that's not really confirmed and whatever, but there's no reason not to kick the Punisher can down the road if you can avoid it. But I also am excited because I like the Punisher as a character, and I like Jon Bernthal as Punisher, and Punisher and Daredevil work really well together, at least as far as foils for each other, and that'd be really cool to see. And so the question is, well, here's the thing. It ain't going to be like those Punisher shows, which were thoughtful, introspective, violent analyses of, war and its effect on Americans and their place in the world after war. That was a good show. It was a really good show, but it's too smart for the MCU.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to insult the MCU. I love the MCU, but I'm just saying it's
you're doing a really good job tempering expectations in a way that I think for a project like this is really good. Expect less, be really excited when you get more, because we're getting 22 episode seasons that Disney Plus hasn't successfully done. And no disrespect to people who enjoy that stuff, but they haven't fully successfully across the board won with a 10 episode series or a 6 episode series. And they're boldly doing a 22, and it's okay, maybe it's because
18.
they got the entire.
I think it's 18. Yeah,
it's 18.
Yeah.
Okay, they're doing an 18 episode season, which is significantly more than they've done. It's like, okay, maybe it's because they're getting the old creative cast back, but they stripped the cast or the crew of everything, and now it's just the actors.
I feel like they're doing this. This is my theory, because we're going to get 3 stories. I feel like we're going to get 3 6-episode,
like 3 little seasons of the show.
Because I think what they're going to do is they're going to use this. Because right now, it's pretty. Look, regardless of whether you liked all of Phase 4 or not, you cannot disagree that the MCU is at its lowest point it's ever been in. Okay? Yeah. Due to the divisiveness and everything, and the lower budgets and the amount of projects, whatever the excuse is, it's at the lowest point. So we already know that there's rumors circulating about Robert Downey Jr. coming back. Now, let's say you do get Robert Downey Jr. back and Chris Evans and everyone for Secret Wars. Well, that's only a one-time bump. But you know what we have in our back pocket now that we know people want to see, and we can get them on Disney Plus to watch it, Daredevil. And if we do that as an 18-episode series, we can use that as a launch board for, because there's also rumors that Kristen Ritter's coming back as
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. What if we do a 6-episode thing where he's directly against the Kingpin and his wife, because Vanessa Fisk has been announced? Then what if we do a 3-issue arc where Punisher's back? We can really go in on a Punisher story. And then 3 issues with Jessica Drew being back. And not Drew, Jones. And then we could do another 6 episodes where we kind of have Punisher, Kristen Ritter, and Daredevil fighting the Kingpin. Like, you could do something like that.
It's so ambitious for them. It's such a good idea. It's like, it's how they should do it, honestly. You're on the money with it, honestly. It's like Daredevil spanned out across like a year, right? Yeah. With a couple episodes releasing at a time, tying into like a Spider-Man movie or something like that, right? In between these 3 episodes, even though it's the same season, he does an adventure with Spider-Man because the Spider-Man movie is going to come out, and now he's a ground level hero, right? You could do that.
And She-Hulk shows up for what episode to break the 4th wall?
To break his back, I guess. I don't know. Blow his back out is what I wanted to say, but I said it wrong. But yeah, I don't.
Because I feel like what they're trying to do now is, with the downturn, with the rumors of Robert Downey Jr., with the rumors of Chris Evans, with the rumors of everyone coming back in Daredevil and Charlie Cox and everything going on, what they're trying to do is like, okay, look, we tried too much stuff that we knew wouldn't work, but we do know for a fact people like the Daredevil show.
Right.
The Iron Fist was divisive. Luke Cage had its haters, but you know what wasn't? Daredevil. And you know what also worked? Punisher.
Yes.
So what if we do what we know is going to work, we stretch it out to be a long season, but even if we break it up, and we have people butts in seats weekly for Disney Plus finally.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me.
Great idea.
I love the idea, by the way, of them splitting it up. I mean, the 18 makes so much sense when you think about how their standard is 6. So, like, I'm just thinking if they were to break it up, they could do 3 arcs. And those arcs represent and also shorthand literal decades of Daredevil continuity if they go like this. Because, like, they could say that Daredevil has been Daredevil for, like, 6 months at the time of the She-Hulk show. That's why he's wearing the yellow suit. And so first 6 episodes, the origin story, right? It's just we see the flashback, but also it's about him being Daredevil for the first time. He gets revenge for his father. He fights the Fixer. It's really whatever, you know? And it's the transition for him to get the red suit. Next 6 episodes, Daredevil Born Again. It's the Frank Miller run. He faces the Kingpin. We deal with Vanessa. We deal with, like, Nuke. And maybe that's when Jessica Jones shows up, but probably not, right? You got that. Yeah. That's 6 episodes. It also changes tonally. The first season, more fun. Or the first arc, more fun, kind of like She-Hulk, where he's laughing, he's banging people. You know, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Then you get to the Frank Miller part. It's dark. It's hardcore. Maybe you even said it in the past. I don't know when. Actually, no, it doesn't work because Scar is in She-Hulk, and that sucks. But you do.
His hairline was the best it could be.
It's so good. I don't understand why you would let that be the case when every aspect of him is fake. Like, I understand why you have to deal with actors who have bad hairlines. But, like, he's a completely invented character. You could create his hair. But, so second arc, Frank Miller, right? Then the third arc is the status quo you want to deal with Daredevil, where it's 6 episodes. It's got Kingpin. It's got Jessica Jones. It's the identity reveal. So it's Daredevil going to jail. Who's there? Frank Castle. Frank protects Daredevil. Daredevil breaks out, or maybe he is out on bail, and so he's the I'm not Daredevil version of his character. So by the time he's in Spider-Man, it's that version of Daredevil, where like everyone knows that Matt Murdock is Daredevil, and Spider-Man has like an insight into like, got your identity revealed, huh? First time, you know? And so you get to do like literally like 3 different movies of Daredevil in the span of only like 18 episodes. It's not bad.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm
so
saying. I really feel like that's what they're trying for, because they keep trying to do things like Mandalorian. 6 episodes. That's it. You get people in the seas for 1 month, and then they're out.
Damn right.
Like, they're out. Like, that's it.
Well, and
so,
if you fumble in the middle, you do not have time to regain that audience.
No.
You don't have time for someone to
Boba
get
Fett
bored
was
while
like
it's
that.
still
Boba
airing.
Fett started slow, and then 3 and 4 is like, I'm out. What the like,
Yeah.
You need the middle ground, because there's a lot of TV shows that, like, I think the CW shows back in the day when that was the talk of the town, there were times where they would, like, start strong, do really poorly in the middle, but the seasons ran for so long that eventually that people were like, oh my God, you cut the season finale of Arrow? Deathstroke's back. You know, like, that was a conversation piece. So you're exactly right.
The budgets for TV show, we're in this weird situation right now where everything's trying to be this 6-episode super prestigious thing. But the problem with that is you're either making a long movie or you're making a short show. You're not making a true show. No. And like you said, Hassan, if you lose somebody, like with the Miss Marvel shift, I know a lot of people dropped off after episode 3 when they just completely changed locations. Yeah. Like, no one's coming back to watch the finale now. You just lost them. The show's not long enough to get that hype built back up.
Yeah. And it's just we're in an era of, like, media conversations happening in 48-hour cycles, and if you're a part of it if you're part of it and the TikTok trends that follow, or the viral tweets or whatever, you're part of it, and if you're not, you're not. And you either have, like, a standout actor that is a big reason people come back to it or not. But, you know, I think everybody loves Charlie Cox, but I don't think Charlie Cox is going to necessarily put viral tweets out. You know, like put ass in seats. People aren't going to be tweeting about him. They love him. For context, it's crazy that this was on our docket. My girlfriend just started watching Daredevil last week, and I watched it so many years ago. And when I tell you this woman has become obsessed with Charlie Cox, she made us watch like a Neil Gaiman movie with Charlie Cox in it that was terrible called
Stardust.
Stardust. Yeah. I loved it. It was so awful. But she loves him, and she talked about how, like, we need more. There's a very funny line. She's like, why don't we get this type of male slut representation in media? This is awesome. He's just like this badass, suave guy. So maybe people like post thirst traps of him, and that'll go really viral. But how do we keep him in the conversation? And what Benny just pitched, what you guys just pitched, it's great. And if you told me Marvel was doing this before they did any of the shows, right around when Endgame was ending, I'd be like, oh my God, it's going to happen. This is crazy. I don't have faith in them, and I hope to be proven wrong. I have no faith in them being able to get this done correctly. But if what you guys said happens, we're in for a trip, guys. It's going to be the time of our lives.
Well, I agree.
TV shows have forgotten the current news cycle, where they just keep getting forgotten almost immediately after airing. Back in the day, things like Supernatural would go 24 episodes, and we'd be talking about it the entire, like the fandom would be talking about it for its entirety. We have the same problem happening in the video world of video games right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mention a controversial game, but only for the sake of the news cycle.
Right.
Hogwarts Legacy, after about a week, disappeared from all of my feeds. Whether you hated it, loved it, or whether you were taking a stance to get it, it was gone.
Yeah.
That's why games like Fortnite and Destiny constantly do these like 3-month cycles, because you bring them up again and again and again. That's
Fortnite
what they
had
want.
Massive resurgence several months ago when they introduced no build. Like they changed the entire game.
Yep.
Everyone played it. It got a little stale. They introduced like 30 new guns and a hammer. Everyone played it. It got stale. This week, Attack on Titan, like the anime, is added to the game, and everyone's playing it, and it's back on. But yeah, Hogwarts Legacy, I played that game. And I played it for a week, and I had a lot of fun. I ended up getting distracted by like 1 or 2 other things. I legitimately haven't sat down and played again. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was watching videos about it because I thought they were like funny and entertaining. There was a lot of funny bits. People would go and like put a mod in to kill everybody in Hogwarts for fun. Very entertaining. But
and that's what I mean. And that's what I think shows are trying to do, because back in the day, we started having that problem when the Netflix shows first dropped. Where they would drop them in a bulk, we'd talk about them for 3 weeks, and then that's it. It's gone.
Not even 3 weeks, dude. You remember, like those were rough, because it was like you had to you had channels, you had podcasts and channels, a competition that would watch the last 3 episodes and the first episode, so they'd be ready to go, and they'd have their videos done, and it would be like, here's what's happened. Here's all the important parts about the show. And they'd leave out really important stuff that was about character, but who cares, because here's what the season finale had to say.
Yeah.
Because I literally have 11 episodes in front of me right now, and they dropped at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's the big reason why Comic Story never started getting on top of the news cycle for the MCU stuff. It's not that Dan and I and all of us in the office weren't talking about them. It's that I made it a credence, like, we are not going to, unless we need to, we are not going to do this 6-hour turnaround. We're not waking up at 11 p.m. and watching all the shows. I did it to Dan one time, and he never lets me live it down. I said, watch all of Daredevil. We're going to talk about it tomorrow, and I didn't.
God damn it. Sounds like you.
It's way back when it was just me and Dan on the channel. So we were like, we're going to talk about Daredevil. So it was like, hey, watch it all. We're going to meet up in like 2 days and talk about it. And I just kept postponing and kept postponing.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got to watching it all, it was only like a week later. But then I was like, well, now it doesn't matter. Everyone's forgotten about it. So
no, especially when the show's bad. Like, not to interrupt, I'm sorry.
No. You're exactly on the money with it, especially when it's bad.
Well, like an Iron Fist, like we literally, like Daredevil lasted a week. You could talk about all of Daredevil, every single thing about the season of Daredevil for a 5-day work week.
Yeah.
Iron Fist, 2 days max.
We did a live watch party for the first. We had some brand deal that wanted us to do a live watch party for the first 3 episodes of Iron Fist, and I got like an episode and a half in, and I'm like, I'm so bored. This is so boring.
Yeah,
and I'm a
never
huge
did
Iron
deals
Fist
with us
fan.
again.
Yeah,
yeah.
I wonder. That conversation always comes up. Is the binge model still good? Is it still valid?
It's not.
Is it bad? And it just depends on the property.
No.
It entirely depends on the length and the storytelling medium and what the property is and how it is released. I think you should never release like a 20+ episode season or anything above like, I don't know,
like 10
Yeah. It's crazy. Like you should not bulk release those. Stranger Things, I think, did it the best recently, where they did Part 1, Volume 2. I really liked that because it gave us time. It had the cultural resonance in Part 1, and then only was it like a month later? It was a month later. People had talked about it. They'd had their trends about it, and then they talked about it again to wrap up the finale. They did it well. So I was like, when Young Justice was airing, I fully think that season would have been received so much better had it was doing 3-episode arcs. Release an arc, take 2 weeks off. Release an arc, take 2 weeks off. Don't give us a half an episode a week. But yeah, it just depends, and sometimes it's broken. It's broken for conversations, and then there are certain shows that are written to be binged, where it's broken if you do it episodically because it's just a long story, and it doesn't necessarily have those abbreviations it should.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's interesting to see them trying to go back to that. I really do think, because they've been trying to do it, but I think what they realized is the weekly releases just don't work with these short shows. I think that's the problem. Because I was watching, I think it was Captain Midnight talking about streaming services, and they're all seeing these ups and dips now because, you watched Captain Midnight as well? His stuff?
I love Captain Midnight. I was like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, you're watching Captain Midnight. Oh,
Captain
okay.
Midnight! Yeah. Anyway, I was watching his thing, and he's saying our streaming services are going to have to change, and I didn't realize it. But we've gotten to the point where when these all started, I would sign up for a service, and like I would have this one, I'd give it to Dan. Dan would give me this one, I'd give one to Andy. And we do that because you wanted to kind of check them regularly, but it has gotten to the point where I don't even check them anymore unless I deactivated half of them until something came out.
Yeah.
Now, great example, Ted Lasso's back. I didn't realize that, and I don't know what service is on. I got to find out which one.
Apple.
That's the one I keep canceling because I'm like, I watch one thing every 6 months.
I have so many free trials saved up just to watch Ted Lasso. I have oh, you got this thing, you get a free trial. I'm saving all these codes. I'm going to use them for Ted Lasso. With Netflix, right? The only reason I have Netflix right now, like outside of if we'll watch something just because it's on, is because I get it free with T-Mobile. I decided that like when Stranger Things was done, I have no real reason to be like, I need to pay for the 4K version of Netflix.
Yeah.
Because why?
Yeah.
Like what's on there for me? And then if I like really want to go see it, I'll upgrade my account to it, or I've started to do this, and I've never done this before. I started to rent movies on YouTube sometimes. I'll spend $4 and get My Hero.
I do Amazon.
Amazon or whatever, or I'll buy some of them because sometimes the rental price is the same as the buying price, and I've never done that until now because I'm like, I really don't need these streaming services. I just like want to watch a couple of these things periodically, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm not binging things the way I used to. The only thing I'm binging right now, Modern Family. And binge is the wrong word. It is my background. It's when I cook. It's when I clean. It's when I edit videos. I have Modern Family going in the background.
But all right, I think this topic has gone off the rails, but in a good way. But I do think it's time to wrap it up. I'm apparently a wascally wabbit now.
Yeah. So just a real quick summation.
Yeah.
Punisher's back. Are we excited? Yay or nay?
Oh, yay. For sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I've been excited since they announced Born Again, like that he's actually coming back.
John Bernthal. Yes.
I know.
He's so
and
good with so many of these actors.
He's so good. But like, what's up with this picking and choosing casting where they're like, no, only the big names can come back. The smaller names, no, forget about it. Like, I think it's all or nothing. I think they should be like, look, if you're going to bring back John Bernthal and Kingpin and Vincent D'Onofrio, you got to bring back Karen, and you got to bring back Foggy, you got to bring back Elodie Young as Elektra, you got to bring them all back. You can't recast, but they're recasting Vanessa, which says to me that they're not going to do that. What do you guys think?
It'd be one thing if they recast with a specific intent in mind, where it's like, here is a narrative purpose. We don't want to break the mold, but we think this is a better casting for what we have in mind in the future. You know, a better version of the botch thing they did with Cassie and Ant-Man, right? Like something really, really intentional with a plan. I'm okay with that. But if it's recasting for the sake of casting, or actor availability. If there's an actor that cannot come anymore, but it's a character that is integral, recast it. That's fine by me. So maybe they couldn't get the old Vanessa back, you know.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
But all right, well, that is absolutely coverage of the latest Daredevil news. Make sure you like, subscribe. We'll keep you up to date as more stuff comes out. We will make sure that the rumors are at least intended to be real, as far as we hope. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next time right here